Is this thing on? Oh, hey. Hey y'all, my name is Corey Seifers. I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am also affiliated with Coldwell Banker in Buckhead, Atlanta. I've helped over 200 families either buy or sell and closed just around 40 million in volume total. And I've been in business for about 9 years. For those that are wondering, this is just a little information about me. Today I want to talk to you about open houses. Open houses, what's interesting is when I first got into real estate, the training that I took, they only talk about open houses as being a form of getting more buyer leads or seller leads, which I think is interesting because I think I personally think that's a bad message because it sounds like open houses are only utilized for leads to help the realtor in question. I'm going to discuss that and we're going to talk about mini pros, okay? Because the reality is this: yes, open houses are certainly utilized to attract new buyers and to attract new sellers. Because what happens is any good agent who hosts an open house should be going door to door to meet your neighbors. Hi, my name's Corey. I'm hosting an open house at XYZ French Street this Saturday from 10 to 2. Wanted to invite you, and also if you know anybody that's looking to live in the neighborhood, feel free to bring them by. We'll have coffee, donuts, whatever it is. So they're meeting the neighbors and they're inviting them because the reality is neighbors are nosy. They want to see what your house looks like, okay? And oftentimes they do in fact know somebody that is interested. And I have had one strange situation where this didn't happen from an open house, but I had a listing. There's a neighborhood called Tega Cay in South Carolina. It's on the Lake Wiley. And I had a listing. The buyer of their house was the seller of the house that they purchased. I shit you not. And I can't even remember now how that even came about because I know that we had the listing prior. I don't know, this is unique. I don't think that either one was on the market first. Oh, well, maybe theirs was. No, they put their house on the market afterwards. So my sellers must not have had anything lined up just yet. So we put their house on the market. She came through, and I guess she just mentioned that she had a home in the neighborhood, and they're like, which one? And we went and looked at it. Anyway, it was like a house swap. Very unique. Again, wow, went off the rails. I'm not even sure what I was talking about anymore. And I apologize for that. Yes, I have ADD and I am medicated, if you believe it or not, even though we still went off the rails. But not the point of this video. Let's talk about open houses. Yes, open houses are utilized, again, to collect buyer and seller leads because a lot of times buyers who do not have a realtor, this is early on in their process of buying, they'll start going to open houses. And that's because they maybe don't know what their money will get them. So they'll drive around and they'll look at different open houses to see what they cost. And this is where they start deciding what part of town they want to be in, what they can afford, or what their perceived, what the perceived value is of these homes. So they are utilized a lot for realtors to get more business. However, that being said, I do not want to discourage you because open houses can also be a very strategic move. I personally like to utilize open houses with a strategy, and this is part of my marketing campaign. So here's what I like to do. I like to take a listing on a Tuesday. And when I say take a listing on a Tuesday, I mean I want to have this on the MLS and going active on a Tuesday. And the reason for this, okay, let me back up. I like to make a listing active on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, on a Tuesday, but hold off all showings until Friday at like 5 p.m. or Saturday during an open house. The reason for this: when you have a listing on the MLS, it syndicates to thousands of third-party sites such as Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com, etc., 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 including every single firm's website, ColdwellBanker.com, KellerWilliams.com. You know, all of these sites are fed listings directly from the MLS through what is called an IDX exchange. But some of them can take like up to 24 hours to fully syndicate. So personally, I have found that you are better off to allow the most amount of attention for a listing prior to allowing showings. And it is a strategy and it works. So the point is, you have a listing go on the market on a Tuesday, but you're not allowing any showings till, let's just say, Saturday during an open house at noon. This allows this listing to syndicate to all these sites because buyers come from many places, from many sources, and you want as many people to see this as possible before anybody can get their foot in the door. This also is good because you allow people some breathing room. You know, for a while there, the market was really intense and a house would hit the, even, this is what's crazy. I remember a lot of times back in like, let's just say 2020, a house would hit the market on a Tuesday afternoon and they would allow showings that same day. If you were not in that house on Tuesday and made an offer on Tuesday, that house was gone. Alternatively, that house could have gone on the market on a Tuesday and did the same thing that I did and held off on showings until Friday. And you might still have 2 or 3 offers sight unseen because the market was nuts and people couldn't get a house quick enough. But in a normal market like we're in now, I like to use this method of list on Tuesday, hold off showings until Saturday during the open house. Again, this is so that all these people can see the listing, and now ideally they come around the same time, and this creates a supply and demand issue in their mind, right? Because when they come to tour the property, ideally somebody's leaving when they get there and somebody's pulling up as they're leaving. So they know, shit, I gotta move quick because there are other interested people in this property. Another benefit of that, if you were to put a house on the market on a Tuesday and allow showings immediately, let's just say in the grand scheme of things, you have 5 seriously interested buyers for that particular property. And you allow showings right out the gate. Somebody tours it Wednesday morning. They love it. They make an offer and they put a 24-hour expiration on it. Now you're in a pickle because your seller has 24 hours to respond. So what do? Do they accept this offer knowing that they have a handful of showings scheduled for Friday or Saturday or Sunday or whatever the case may be? Or do they reject the offer? Or do they counter and say, I know you offered list, but we have all these showings coming up this weekend. If you're willing to pay X over list price, I'll take it off the market and it's yours. It's a gamble, right? I'll tell you right now, the majority of sellers will not take that offer. They won't take it. Sometimes they will, but it's usually if you get a list price offer the first day on market and you've got 10 showings scheduled for later that week, they're not going to take that offer. They're just not. So let's just say they don't take the offer. Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes, they've had 10 showings and none of them make an offer. Now you've showed your cards. So what do? They go back to that buyer that had an offer on the table and say, look, I know your offer expired. If you're still interested, we'd love to accept, or counter. Well, you just showed your cards because they know now. And I shouldn't say they know definitively because realistically, you could be giving them like the benefit of the doubt and saying, well, you know what? Maybe you did receive an offer that was $20,000 more. And you go back to the buyer and say, hey, if you're willing to pay X amount for it, we'll sell it to you. That buyer doesn't know if you got another offer. For all they know, you're playing games. But let's just say you did get any other offers and you come back and you're like, hey, now you're looking real desperate. They may not even offer you what they were offering you before. They may have moved on to something else. A number of things can happen. So that is why I'm telling you, it is best to have as many eyes on your property and as many feet in the door before entertaining offers, because you don't want to put yourself in this situation. Ideally, at least if you had 15 people come through that Saturday and only one offer, well, that one offer does not know if you did or didn't receive other offers. And you can't tell them anyway, unless your seller has disclosed that you can tell them if they've received other offers. So that's one way that I like to use open houses. Again, they are utilized a lot to generate more leads, but they do bring buyers, and they do make it convenient, especially if you've got a realtor who's traveling, or they just have other plans that Saturday. Maybe they're out busy with clients that Saturday already, and your client's they have a client that's interested. You know, when you host an open house that first day on market, you're getting everyone in there that day that they can, you know what I'm saying? Like you're making it easy for them. Like, okay, your realtor's busy. We're here. The door's open. Come on through, fam. Yeah. So anyway, that's my little advice on open houses. Man, I hope I explained everything that I wanted to. But anyway, if you are in Charlotte and you have a house to sell or buy, well, if you have a house to sell, or if you're interested in buying a house, or both, I would love to help. If you're in the Atlanta area, I currently mostly only work listings in Atlanta because it's a 4-hour drive. Now, I've helped a few buyers in Atlanta, but I've only helped a few buyers that I knew were very serious buyers, because I'm not about to drive back and forth to Atlanta for someone who is going to kick the tires for 6 months and then decide not to buy. I'm just being real with you. But if you are in the Atlanta area and you are a very serious buyer, I'm happy to come there and help you. If you are anywhere else in the country, I'm also willing to help you find a local realtor, because I work on what's called referrals as well. So if you are in Seattle and maybe you don't feel like interviewing 10 agents, let me do it for you, okay? Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video at all, please hit me up with a like, subscribe to my channel for more random nonsense. And most importantly, if you have a house to buy or sell, which I think I already said, all right, ignore me. Bye, guys.